So I just realized you get a sneak peek because I already did the next painting bit prior to recording this little bit on attachment and some of the trauma that we can't remember. So, sneak peek. I realized that after I recorded the last video and was like, oh, okay, well, that's okay. Usually I put something else in the background or you just see the painting as it's evolving. But that's okay. You'll get a little glimpse there and then you'll get to walk through it here shortly. So now we are talking about the trauma you can't remember. And I found this really interesting when I was watching someone in my field talking about this recently. I thought, oh, this is really important because we focus so much on talking about people's trauma, what they went through, how it's affected them, and how we can kind of shift things now. But there's a lot of things maybe we don't even remember. So you might have identified like your attachment style that you resonate with the most, but maybe you don't even understand why. Like, why is that the one I identify with? Because I feel like I had a decent childhood, right? So you know your parents did the best they could, and so your mind is thinking like, why do I feel like I identify as an anxious attachment or avoidant attachment? Like, I don't understand this. I had pretty good parents, right? Your mind might be telling you all these things. Maybe you did. But even people with great parents have felt overwhelmed, and other events in their lives can still lead to kind of a insecure type of attachment. So let me give you an example. So let's just say that as a child, you go to school, something happens, and you don't want to tell your parents whatever the thing was. Something could happen. Somebody bullied you, something just embarrassing, whatever the thing was. So maybe there was something in your past that came up that caused your parents to maybe overreact. So if they've ever kind of overreacted or been upset over something, and now you become like a little scared to tell them, and it's not that they're going to be abusive or anything, but you're just kind of scared, like, I don't want to tell them because how are they going to take this? Right? So they hadn't provided that completely safe space where you could just tell them anything. And like I said, they weren't abusive, but they maybe just overreacted. And maybe they had bad days and made you not feel so good about whatever you'd told them. So now you have this in your mind that when this thing happens, I don't want to tell my parents. So we see this happen with kids who end up trying drugs, getting into the wrong crowds, even those who end up dying by suicide. So a parent might be like, I don't understand. We were always there for them. We told them they can come to us. Right? We were there. We attended their events. They were doing great in school. They had great grades. We've been doing our best, and they seem to be doing pretty good. So the parent doesn't understand because they thought they were providing a pretty good environment. But somewhere along the way, there was disconnection. Okay, so it could have come from an outside influence. It doesn't mean that there was bad parents. It just, things happen, and there are other influences outside of the primary caregivers that can still cause some sort of disconnection. It might not happen when real little, right? It might be more of that junior high into high school years where suddenly there's a lot more external influence. So just know that sometimes that kind of overwhelm And those things then can create that where it's like, oh, I don't want to go to them, I don't feel safe there. So there's just those type of things. That could be one element. So the more overwhelmed you feel, the more you actually need social connection. So we need to connect to feel safe. Okay, so if you're feeling disconnected, if you're feeling overwhelmed, seek out connection with someone, with a friend, a community group, a support group. Go do something, go sit at the coffee shop and just be around people. Because those are moments that we really need to have some sort of connection with others and not isolate, because we are social creatures. Okay, so even the most introverted people who say, oh, no, I like being by myself, even the most introverted people, we're social creatures. Okay, so just know that you're feeling a little overwhelmed, you're feeling disconnected. Connect with people, connect with someone. All right, now talking about the trauma you can't remember, we don't have memories of things that never happened. So we don't have memories first of things that may have happened before around 2-ish or so. Basically pre-verbal. So anytime up until we become verbal, anything that we take in is held in our body. So that's why they say the body keeps the score. Our body holds on to those memories where our brain hasn't registered them. And so that's why sometimes things that happen when you're really, really little, you might not remember and you don't understand why you're having any issues with something, but something happened and your body remembers. Next is not having the memories of things that never happened. So that's kind of the hardest part of identifying the needs, right? So when we earlier had talked about identifying the needs that were not met, where are you supposed to find them? If there was neglect, then we didn't know any better, right? So if you were left alone to fend for yourself for whatever the thing is, you didn't know any better. Like, that was just life. You didn't know somebody was supposed to maybe do something for you when you were a child. So you don't have a memory of that thing because it never happened. Neglect can cause just as much trauma and emotional distress as abuse. So if you're feeling stuck, disconnected, just that feeling like maybe things shouldn't have happened the way they had, or they should have happened, right? So there was a lack. And you might notice this later when you kind of retrospect, like look back. Or you may have noticed this when you were around other kids as you grew up, maybe in high school, maybe in college, maybe even later in life. You go, oh, is that what parents are supposed to have done? Like, they didn't do that for me. And that's where things start to connect of, oh, okay, there are things that maybe should have been done that just weren't done. And so I don't have a memory of abuse. I don't have a memory of it at all because it didn't happen. And so it still affects us, because if it's something that should have been there, it wasn't nurtured. So it takes more energy now, though, to stay like stuck and focused on that feeling of disconnection. So you'll actually feel more energy by just releasing any trauma, any wounds, by being like, okay, you know what? I'm here now. Like, this is where I'm at now. All this stuff in the past that has ever happened or not happened, I'm here now. I'm learning to reparent myself. I'm learning how to create healthy boundaries. I'm learning what healthy love looks like so that I can bring that into the world. And by releasing that focus on like these are the bad things that happen to me, then we're able to have more energy and open up to receiving more of the positive and the things that we're wanting in our lives. And also, I do have a note written down. The more we focus on a bad memory, it solidifies it more. Right? So that's why we bring it up as like, here it is, and now let's release it. And now let's focus on what we want to bring in. Where do we want to put our attention? So that we can focus our energy onto what we want to bring into our lives and what we want to experience. Because if what we focus on is the bad and it really solidifies it in our memory, they talk about that being like how PTSD, if you keep bringing up those bad memories of the things that are triggering, then you're just repeating that in your head, right? And you're just staying in that energy and being triggered and replaying those stories. And we don't want to keep replaying those stories. So as hard as it is sometimes to let go of some of those stories, because that's what we know and that's what we've had playing in our head for however long, we want to be able to move past that. Right? We're not forgetting what's happened, and we're just saying this is no longer where I want to focus my attention anymore. Right? If that's wrapping it up in a little box and setting it aside, if that's writing something out, burning it and letting it, the smoke, dissipate and go and release. But yeah, that quote, the more we focus on bad memories, it solidifies it more, really hit for me, where I said, okay, like, this is why I focus so much on what are the affirmations of what I want, what are my true desires, what does my future look like, and bringing that energy to now, right? If this is what I want for my future, how do I bring that into now? Because the more I reach back, looking in that rearview mirror and reaching back to the old stories and pull that forward, that's just going to drag me down from being able to move into the energy of where I want to go. So learning to cut those ties, so to speak, dropping that baggage, leaving it, letting it be, just being able to say, okay, this has served me to this point. These stories, the neglect, the abuse, the trauma, the heartaches, the ups and downs, whatever it has been through life up to this point, has brought me to this point. I am who I am today because of anything that I can or can't remember from my past. Right, so everything has brought us to now and has made us who we are. And I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to be who I am, and I'm grateful for you and for who you are, and that we are here, right, experiencing this beautiful, wonderful, amazing life, and being able to say, okay, how do I bring more beauty and love into it, and then spread that out to others? Because no matter what's happened in our past, it does not define us now. We get to choose. We have free will to choose who we want to be and who we want to step into being. So I just wanted to kind of come give you a little bit of insight of some things that I've been listening to and hearing about, researching recently. Share that with you, and hope that that might resonate and maybe help you a little bit on your journey as well. All right, I'll be back later to talk about attachment and how it affects us now in our relationships today, and how we can be able to create a more secure attachment in our relationships. All right, many blessings. I'll see you soon.